Hey everyone! If you're loving these stories and want the full, uncensored versions, plus exclusive hotter content, come check out my Patreon. For just $4 a month, you get access to over 440 stories, 2 new parts every day, and way spicier, lemony scenes. Every single story is 100% custom and written by me from scratch, often based on your ideas and suggestions. You can even submit prompts and vote on what comes next. This story, along with several recent ones, was picked by a Patreon poll. Link is in the description or pinned comment. Join us and dive in. Enjoy the story. In the hidden village of Konoha, life for the Uzumaki family had settled into a rhythm of quiet unease. Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage, was alive and well, but his duties as a leader and elite shinobi kept him away from home for weeks at a time. Missions, council meetings, and the endless vigilance against threats to the village left little room for family. His wife, Kushina Uzumaki, a fiery redhead with a spirit as vibrant as her hair, managed the household with a forced smile. Their son, Naruto, now a young adult at 18, had grown into a strong ninja, full of energy and determination, but the absence of his father weighed on everyone. Kushina often felt the void most acutely. Years of neglected intimacy had left her yearning for connection, her body and heart starved in ways she dared not voice. Little did she know, an ancient seal from her clan's heritage, placed on Naruto as a baby to contain the Nine Tails, was about to awaken in a twisted, unforeseen way, binding mother and son in a forbidden dance of desire. Naruto returned home late that evening, exhausted from a day of training. The house was quiet. Minato was on another extended mission, and Kushina had retired early. In his room, Naruto stripped down, his muscular frame glistening with sweat under the dim light. He could not shake the restlessness building inside him, a surge of hormones that had been plaguing him more frequently. Lying on his bed, he let his hand wander, gripping his hardening length as fantasies flooded his mind. Meanwhile, in her bedroom, Kushina stirred in her sleep. A strange heat blossomed in her core, unbidden and intense. Her eyes fluttered open, her cheeks flushing pink as a wave of arousal crashed over her. What is happening?" she whispered, her hand instinctively pressing between her thighs. It felt like her body was no longer her own. Every throb, every pulse mirrored something distant yet intimately connected. She gasped, realizing it was Naruto's desire she was feeling. The seal had activated, linking their sensations in a cruel twist of fate. Naruto's breath came faster in his room, his hand stroking rhythmically. He imagined soft curves, warm skin. Faceless at first, but soon morphing into forbidden thoughts he pushed away. The pressure built, his abs tensing, toes curling. Unbeknownst to him, Kushina arched on her bed, her nightgown riding up her thighs. Her nipples hardened against the fabric, a fog of lust clouding her mind. "No, this cannot be," she moaned softly, but her fingers betrayed her, circling her swollen clit through her panties. The sensation was electric, amplified by the seal's resonance. She could almost feel his grip on himself, the slick slide of pre-cum. Driven by an overwhelming urge, Kushina slipped out of bed, her legs shaky. She padded down the hall to Naruto's door, her heart pounding. Peeking in, she saw him, eyes closed, lost in pleasure, his length throbbing in his hand. Shame burned her face crimson, but the shared arousal drowned it out. "Naruto!" she breathed, stepping inside. He jolted upright, eyes wide in horror. "Mom? What are you?" But before he could finish, she closed the distance, her body pressing against his in a haze of need. Their lips met in a frantic kiss, tongues tangling as years of pent-up frustration erupted. Kushina's hands roamed his chest, feeling the seal on his stomach pulse with heat. Naruto's mind raced. This was wrong, so wrong, but his body responded eagerly, pulling her onto the bed. He tugged at her nightgown, exposing her full breasts, nipples erect and begging for attention. "Mom! I cannot stop," he groaned, his voice husky with desire. Kushina's eyes were half-lidded, a mix of guilt and ecstasy on her flushed face. "Neither can I. It is the seal. It is making me feel everything. Naruto's mouth descended on her breast, sucking greedily, his tongue flicking the sensitive bud. Kushina cried out, her back arching, fingers threading through his blonde hair. The pre-cum from his tips smeared against her thigh as she ground against him, her panties soaked. She reached down. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 500+ scorching hot episodes. Years earlier, when Naruto was just a newborn, Kushina had performed the ancient Uzumaki sealing ritual in secret. The Nine Tails chakra raged within him, threatening to consume the infant. Drawing on her clan's forbidden knowledge, she etched the seal onto his tiny stomach, binding the beast but also infusing it with her own life force. "This will protect you, my son," she had whispered, tears streaming down her face as Minato held her hand. The seal was meant to be one way, containing the fox's power. But as Naruto grew, his burgeoning chakra and hormonal surges interacted with the Uzumaki bloodline in unexpected ways. By his 18th birthday, the seal had evolved, turning into a bidirectional link. It was not just about control anymore, it transmitted emotions, pains, and now desires. Kushina had noticed faint echoes before. His anger during fights, his joy in victories, but nothing prepared her for the sexual awakening. Minato, oblivious and buried in work, had left her vulnerable, her own frustrations amplifying the bond. The first real trigger came that night, when Naruto's solo session crossed the threshold, fully activating the mutated seal. In the immediate aftermath, Kushina's thoughts swirled in a storm of turmoil. "Oh gods, what have I done? That is my son, his cum is still inside me, warm and sticky. But it felt so good, better than Minato ever has in years. The way he filled me, stretched me. I could feel his every pulse, like it was my own orgasm doubled. Shame on me for enjoying it, for wanting more already. My body betrays me, nipples still hard, pussy throbbing for round 2. He is so young, virile. I should stop this, but the seal will not let me." Naruto's mind raced similarly. Mom's body is incredible, soft curves, tight heat. The act was wrong, but the high. I came harder than ever. Her moans, her taste. I want to taste her properly next time. Guilt eats at me, but the seal makes it irresistible. Dad would kill me if he knew. The next morning brought awkward normalcy. Kushina prepared breakfast, her hands trembling as she chopped vegetables. Naruto sat at the table, avoiding eye contact, his face still flushed from the night. "Morning, Mom," he mumbled, grabbing ramen. She forced a smile, her mind replaying the forbidden acts. "Eat up, you have training today." Later, they sparred in the backyard, Kushina teaching him Uzumaki sealing techniques, their bodies brushing accidentally, sending sparks through the link. "Focus, Naruto," she snapped, hiding her quickened breath. In the afternoon, he helped with chores, carrying groceries while she chatted about village news. But every glance lingered too long, every touch ignited the seal's hum. By evening, the tension was palpable, the house feeling smaller, charged with unspoken desire. That night, unable to sleep, Naruto knocked on Kushina's door. "Mom, it is happening again," he admitted, his erection tenting his pants. Kushina, already aroused from sensing his building need all day, pulled him inside. Her room was dimly lit by moonlight, casting shadows on her curvaceous form in a thin robe. She blushed deeply, her green eyes misty with conflict, but excitement made her pupils dilate. "We should not, but I cannot fight it either." They stood close, breaths mingling, the air heavy with anticipation. Naruto's hands trembled as he untied her robe, revealing her naked body, full breasts heaving, hips wide and inviting, her pussy already glistening with arousal, the trimmed red hair above it damp. "You are beautiful, Mom," he whispered, voice thick with lust, his blue eyes dark with desire. Kushina's cheeks burned scarlet, a shy smile breaking through her embarrassment as she felt a rush of warmth at his words. Her mind was a haze, guilt warring with the throbbing need between her legs. "He is looking at me like that, My own son, and it turns me on so much. My nipples are aching already. Flatterer, come here, she murmured, pulling him into a deep kiss, tongues exploring slowly at first, building heat. Her hands roamed his back, pulling off his shirt to trace his defined muscles, the seal warm under her palm, pulsing like a second heartbeat. Pushing him onto the bed gently, Kushina straddled his lap, grinding her wet folds against his bulge through his pants. The friction sent sparks through both of them via the seal, making her gasp. Feel that? It is what you do to me, all day. I have been wet thinking about last night, she teased, her voice husky, mind foggy with desire. Naruto groaned, his hands cupping her ass, squeezing the firm, plush flesh, feeling it yield under his fingers. So soft. I want to taste you, Mom. Please? His cheeks flushed deeper red, a mix of youthful embarrassment and raw hunger in his expression. Kushina bit her lip, her body trembling with anticipation, a light sheen of sweat already forming on her skin. He wants to taste me, gods, the thought alone makes me drip. But it is so taboo, yet I cannot deny him, or myself. She nodded, sliding off him to lie back, spreading her thighs wide, exposing her swollen, pink pussy fully to his gaze. Naruto's eyes widened, drinking in the sight, his length twitching painfully in his pants. He leaned down, inhaling her musky, feminine scent deeply. It was intoxicating, a mix of sweetness and arousal that made his head spin. You smell amazing, like I imagined, but better. Starting slow, he kissed her inner thighs, teasing her with light nips and licks, working his way closer. Kushina's hips twitched, her fingers gripping the sheets, head thrown back as soft moans escaped her lips. Her face was a picture of flushed ecstasy, cheeks rosy, eyes half closed in a lustful fog, lips parted. Tease, do not make me wait, she whimpered, one hand reaching to tangle in his blonde hair, guiding him gently but firmly. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. In the quiet afterglow, Naruto held Kushina close, their breaths synchronized, the seals hum a faint reminder of their unbreakable link. Guilt lingered in both their minds, but the intensity of the connection drowned it out for now. The night was far from over, and the seal's influence hinted at deeper explorations yet to come. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. Minato's return loomed on the horizon, but for this moment, they were bound together in a way either could deny. Kushina's thoughts post-climax were a torrent. Twice in one night. No, more with that incredible oral. I'm addicted already. His tongue, his fingers, the way he spanked me. It awakened something filthy in me. His stamina is endless. Minato never lasted like that, never made me squirt twice. The way his cum feels on my skin, warm, marking me. I want it inside next time, filling me completely. Guilt gnaws at me. He's my flesh and blood, but the pleasure erases it momentarily. What if Minato finds out? He'd be devastated, yet his absence created this void that Naruto fills so perfectly. The seal binds us forever. Resistance is futile, and honestly, I don't want to resist anymore. I love him as a son, but now as a lover too? Gods help me, but it feels so right in the heat of it. Naruto pondered deeply, fucking Mom twice, and eating her out like that, it's surreal. Her body responds so perfectly to me. Her moans are music, the way she begged for spanks. It turned me on more than I thought possible. I felt her every quiver through the seal. It's like we're soulmates in sin, sharing every sensation. Dad's absence made this possible. I hate resenting him, but she deserves better, deserves to be worshipped like I did tonight. More. I need more of her, to explore every inch, every fantasy. Am I a monster for enjoying this? Or just human, giving in to what the seal demands? The taste of her lingers on my tongue, sweet addiction. The Uzumaki household returned to a fragile peace the following day. Naruto trained harder, channeling his confusion into jutsu practice, while Kushina busied herself with village errands, her steps lighter yet burdened. Whispers of the seal's power lingered in her mind, warning of escalation. Minato's letter arrived, promising a return soon, adding urgency to their secret. But the bond grew stronger. Even apart, faint desires teased them, foreshadowing inevitable surrender. Would they resist, or embrace the forbidden? Only time would tell. The morning after their second forbidden encounter, the Uzumaki home felt heavier with unspoken truths. Kushina woke early, her body still aching pleasantly from the night's passions, but her mind was a battlefield of regret and lingering desire. Naruto, too, stirred with a mix of exhilaration and dread, the seal on his stomach a constant reminder of their unbreakable link. Minato's absence loomed larger than ever. His latest letter indicated another week away, dealing with border skirmishes. Kushina decided it was time to confront the issue head-on. Over breakfast, she set down her chopsticks firmly. "Naruto, we need to talk about last night. And the night before." Naruto's face turned beet red, his blue eyes darting away as he poked at his ramen. "Mom, I do not know what to say. It just happens. This seal makes it impossible to ignore." Kushina nodded, her red hair tied back in a practical ponytail, trying to project authority despite the flush creeping up her neck. "I know. But we cannot let it control us completely. We are family, mother and son. This connection is wrong on so many levels. We have to set rules." She outlined them clearly: no initiating contact unless the arousal became unbearable, focus on training and missions to distract, and absolutely no crossing lines in public or when Minato might return unexpectedly. Naruto agreed reluctantly, his voice low. "I will try, Mom. But what if it gets worse?" As the day progressed, they tested these boundaries. Kushina took Naruto to the training grounds, demonstrating advanced Uzumaki sealing jutsu. Their spars were intense, bodies clashing in controlled combat, but every brush of skin sent jolts through the seal. "Concentrate!" Kushina barked, hiding how her heart raced. Naruto nodded, sweat dripping down his muscular frame, but his mind wandered to her curves under her jonin vest. Later, in the village market, they shopped for supplies. Innocent enough, yet when their hands touched passing a bag, a spark ignited. Kushina pulled away quickly, her green eyes flashing warning, but the tension simmered. Flashbacks haunted Kushina throughout the day. She remembered her youth in Uzumaki, where the clan seals were both blessing and curse. As a teen, she had experimented with minor bonds, linking emotions with friends for missions, but never anything sexual. "Seals evolve with the host," her grandmother had warned. Now, with Naruto's adult chakra awakening, it had twisted into something primal. Minato's neglect had not helped. Their marriage, once passionate, had cooled to duty. If only he were here more, she thought bitterly. This might not have happened. But deep down, she knew the seal's mutation was inevitable, her own frustrations fueling it. By afternoon, the strain showed. Naruto returned from a solo run, panting and aroused from stray thoughts. Kushina sensed it immediately, her body responding in kind. "Rules, remember?" she said sternly, but her voice wavered. They sat in the living room, attempting meditation to calm the link. "Breathe deeply, focus on your chakra," she instructed, cross-legged opposite him. Yet, as minutes ticked by, the shared heat built, their eyes locking in mutual need. The breaking point came when Naruto shifted uncomfortably, his erections straining against his pants. "Mom, it is too much. I can feel your heartbeat syncing with mine." Kushina's cheeks flushed deeply, her nipples hardening under her shirt, a fog of desire clouding her judgment. He is right. The seal is pulsing stronger today. I should resist, but my body is betraying me again. Look at him, so eager, so virile, just a little relief will not hurt. All right, she conceded, her voice breathy, but only to teach you control. No full penetration. Understand? Naruto nodded eagerly, his blue eyes dilated with excitement, face red with a mix of shame and anticipation. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon, 500+ scorching hot episodes. That evening, the rules bent further. Dinner was silent, charged with glances. Kushina retired early, but Naruto followed soon after, the pull irresistible. Mom, meditation did not work fully. He admitted at her door. She sighed, inviting him in, knowing resistance was futile. Flashbacks return. Kushina recalled her wedding night with Minato, passionate but fleeting. Years later, his absences left her experimenting alone, discovering her body's needs. Now, sharing them with Naruto felt both betrayal and fulfillment. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. 500+ scorching hot episodes. Kushina's thoughts swirled in the afterglow. Breaking rules already, but it felt necessary. Teaching him oral, then this. I am enabling it, yet the pleasure is unmatched. Minato's touches were never this synced, this intense. Naruto's youth, his eagerness, it is addictive. The spanks added a thrill I did not know I craved. What am I becoming? A mother who lusts for her son. The seal justifies it, but my heart questions. Still, in his arms, I feel alive again. Naruto's mind echoed, Mom's body is a wonder. Riding me like that, her ass bouncing, incredible. Learning from her, the dominance play, it excites me beyond words. Feeling her come through the seal. It is like double the high. Dad is away, but this fills the void. Guilt hits hard after, but during? Pure bliss. I want to explore more, push boundaries further. The chapter ended on a tense note. The next day, Kushina enforced stricter separation, sending Naruto on a minor mission. But the seal's whispers grew, hinting at deeper connections. Minato's return loomed, adding pressure. Could they maintain control, or would the bond consume them? Guys, please don't forget to hit that like button and drop a comment if you enjoyed it. It means the world to me and gives me a huge boost of motivation. Your support keeps me going. The days blurred into a precarious routine for Kushina and Naruto, the seal's influence weaving deeper into their lives like an insidious vine. Minato's missions extended yet again, his messages brief and apologetic, laced with promises of return that rang hollower each time. Kushina clung to the illusion of control, convincing herself that by channeling their shared desires into structured lessons, they could temper the seal's relentless pull. It is education, not indulgence, she rationalized, though her body betrayed her with anticipatory shivers at the mere thought. Naruto, for his part, dove into grueling training sessions, pushing his limits to exhaustion, but the seal turned every surge of adrenaline into an echo of her touch, every quiet moment into a torment of longing. That morning, the air in the kitchen was thick with unresolved tension as Kushina poured tea, her hands steady but her mind racing. Naruto, we cannot keep spiraling like this, she said firmly, setting the cup before him with a clink that seemed too loud. Her green eyes locked onto his blue ones, searching for understanding amid the storm. The seal is evolving. It is not just physical anymore. I feel your emotions bleeding into mine. We need to learn to harness it, or it will destroy us. Naruto swallowed hard, his cheeks already hinting at a flush, fingers drumming on the table. I know, Mom. But how? Every time I try to ignore it, it hits harder. Like yesterday during training. I could feel you watching me, and it... He trailed off, embarrassed. Kushina nodded, her red hair catching the light as she leaned forward. That is why lessons. Controlled exposure. Today, we will focus on non-penetrative ways. Oral techniques, to release without full commitment. It might help dilute the intensity. Her voice wavered slightly, betraying the excitement bubbling beneath her stern facade. Naruto's eyes widened, a mix of shock and intrigue. You mean, teach me how to? She affirmed with a curt nod, standing abruptly to break the eye contact. After breakfast. Prepare yourself mentally. The village provided a temporary distraction as they ventured out. Kushina insisted on a trip to the Konoha library, ostensibly to scour ancient Uzumaki texts for any mention of mutated seals. The dimly lit aisles offered seclusion, but as they huddled over yellowed scrolls, their proximity ignited sparks. Look here, Kushina whispered, pointing to a faded diagram, her arm brushing his. The contact sent a jolt through the seal, making Naruto's breath hitch audibly. "Mom, not now," he muttered, shifting away, but his eyes lingered on the curve of her neck. She cleared her throat, forcing focus. "It says bonds like this can be weakened with willpower exercises. We have to try." Back home, the mundane took over. Kushina directed Naruto in household chores, folding laundry together in the sunlit room. Their hands touched repeatedly, passing clothes, brushing fingers, and each time the seal hummed louder. "You are doing well," she praised, but her voice was strained, green eyes darkening with suppressed need. By afternoon, a sparring session in the backyard escalated the tension. Kushina's grapples pinned him multiple times, her body pressed flush against his muscular frame. "Feel the chakra flow," she instructed breathlessly, but as his arousal stirred, she released him abruptly, face flushed. "Enough." Inside, time for the lesson. Flashbacks assaulted Kushina as she prepared, her mind drifting to fonder times with Minato. Their academy days were filled with playful flirtations, evolving into passionate nights where he would worship her body with tender kisses and exploratory touches. "Let me show you pleasure," he had murmured on their wedding night, his mouth between her thighs for the first time, drawing out gasps she would never forget. But as responsibilities mounted, those intimacies dwindled, quick, mechanical encounters overshadowed by duty. "I need more," she had pleaded once during a rare homecoming, but he had kissed her forehead apologetically. "Soon, love." Now, with Naruto, the seal resurrected that fire in a forbidden form, blending maternal love with carnal hunger. Am I replacing him? Or filling what he left empty? The guilt twisted like a kunai, yet the anticipation made her pulse race. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows in her bedroom, Naruto entered hesitantly, the door clicking shut behind him like a seal of fate. "I am ready, Mom. Teach me." Kushina stood by the window, her robe tied loosely, heart pounding. "Remember, this is for control. To understand our bodies better, so we can resist when needed." Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon. That evening, the rules bent further. Dinner was silent, charged with glances. Kushina retired early, but Naruto followed soon after, the pull irresistible. "Mom, meditation did not work fully," he admitted at her door. She sighed, inviting him in, knowing resistance was futile. Flashbacks returned. Kushina recalled her wedding night with Minato, passionate but fleeting. Years later, his absences left her experimenting alone, discovering her body's needs. Now, sharing them with Naruto felt both betrayal and fulfillment. Want the full uncensored 18+ scene? Only $4 on Patreon, 500+ scorching hot episodes. Kushina's thoughts swirled in the afterglow. Breaking rules already, but it felt necessary. Teaching him oral, then this. I am enabling it, yet the pleasure is unmatched. Minato's touches were never this synced, this intense. Naruto's youth, his eagerness, it is addictive. The spanks added a thrill I did not know I craved. What am I becoming? A mother who lusts for her son. The seal justifies it, but my heart questions. Still, in his arms, I feel alive again. Naruto's mind echoed, Mom's body is a wonder. Riding me like that, her ass bouncing, incredible. Learning from her, the dominance play, it excites me beyond words. Feeling her come through the seal, it is like double the high. Dad is away, but this fills the void. Guilt hits hard after, but during? Pure bliss. I want to explore more, push boundaries further. The chapter ended amid growing shadows. Whispers of Minato's imminent return stirred paranoia. Kushina pored over seals desperately, but the bond only tightened, evolving toward fantasies bleeding through. Naruto's missions loomed, but separation ached. Acceptance beckoned, dangerous and inevitable.